Florida State, LSU. We had it as our best game of the week. This weekend played on Sunday. Someone's got to check on our boy, Brian Kelly.
He's going through it.
He's going through it right now because my goodness, the confidence he had going into that game. I'll throw up a little graphic of what he said, but I think it was, we're gonna beat the heck out of this team.
Yeah, I tweeted once that post went live. Once I first saw it, I think it was on like Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah,
I tweeted and I was like, "Freezing cold takes is gonna be all over this."
Yeah,
sure enough, right as the game ended, there goes that post.
There it was, and yeah. I mean, this is a team who obviously was disappointed in the outcome of the game last year, wanted revenge. And man, they just pretty much did the opposite of what Brian Kelly said that they were going to do. They got the heck beat out of them. So what happened? What happened to LSU this weekend?
I don't really think it matters about LSU. I think it's more about Florida State is good.
Florida State's a great football team.
You know, I know back in early January, February, I put out a little short in TikTok talking about how I thought Florida State was going to make the playoff.
Yeah.
And I think it just looks even that much better after week one. Their schedule is really favorable. Their toughest game, probably the rest of the season, is Clemson on the road. And Clemson didn't look great.
They looked very below average.
This FSU team is really good. Jordan Travis is a legit QB. He's going to be really, really good. Keon Coleman surprised me. I think he had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
A couple of them that were just jump balls. Jordan just threw it up to him and said, "Go make a play."
And he made the play. Phenomenal athlete.
But now that Johnny Wilson doesn't have to be that wide receiver one, he can kind of be that supporting cast to Keon Coleman. I think that helps Johnny Wilson a lot because he's struggled with drops, had a ton of drops in that LSU game too. But I think it's just only going to benefit him. Trey Benson was so good. I just think this Florida State team is going to be tough to beat.
To be able to go out there and just, I mean, tack on such a huge win against a great team. I mean, this is an LSU team that made the SEC championship last year. Yep. You know, we thought that maybe they could make it again this year, but I think Florida State has a realistic chance to go out there and run the table the rest of the season.
Yep.
I mean, Clemson being their most difficult opponent moving forward. Mm-hmm. I mean, lost to Duke on a Monday night.
Yep.
Bad by a couple scores. So, I mean, if Florida State is very capable of going out there running the table, we could see them a 1 or 2 in the country.
Yeah, and I think the defense is just as good too. You know, I think they have everything that they need to compete. I think Mike Norvell is a pretty underrated coach. But one thing no one talks about is he kills the transfer portal.
Yeah,
every single year. You know, if you look at the transfers that he brought in to Florida State this year, it's just incredible what he's done.
Yeah.
So I'm super high on Florida State. I've been high on Florida State for a while, and I don't think Sunday was a fluke, and I also don't think LSU's a bad football team.
Yeah,
like I don't think that was just Florida State beating up on a bad team. I think LSU's really good, and I think they could, and most likely will, end up in the SEC championship game.
Still,
I think so.
Okay,
but you know, they ran into a really good Florida State team who I think is going to run the table, and I think they're going to be playing for it all.
That just all leads back to, you know, next week's game, Alabama, Texas, because that's going to be very telling for that division, the SEC. You know, will it be Alabama? Will it be LSU coming out of the division? Will it be someone else? But Brock still got or LSU coming out of the division. You still think they're a top 15 team in the country?
Yeah, and we'll even talk about the AP a little bit later, but I still think they're a top 10 team.
Oh, wow.
You know, I think Jane Daniels showed a lot of good on Sunday. I don't necessarily think they lost because of him. They were obviously missing one of their best players on defense in Mason Smith. And they also decided to play Harold Perkins as like an off-ball linebacker. He's best rushing the passer. You know, get him on the line, let him rush the passer, let him impact the game that way. I think LSU will be just fine.
Yeah, I agree.